Well, hello and welcome to all of our viewers around the world. I'm Fiona Langsharp, IBCLC Director of Communications and MC here at Gold Learning. Today, I am very excited. I've had such a great morning because I've had many folks coming through the door. I'm very excited to say that Lisa Paladino is here with us today. Lisa, I'm so happy you're here because we have such good conversations. What do we love talking about? Well, it is our tongue tie conference, of course, that's coming up. And we've had lots of people talking about it today, and I'm excited because we've been working with you and your presentation, and I got to have that little sneak peek of what's coming up, which we'll tell some of our friends a little bit about in just a moment. But Lisa, welcome to Gold. It's so good to have you here.
Oh, thank you so much, Fiona. It's truly an honor. I've been watching Gold conferences and symposiums for years, and I never imagined that I'd be here on this
Oh my
side,
goodness.
and it's just an honor because, when you start out as a lactation consultant, the people that you see speaking publicly seem like these icons, so it's just something that I'd never have imagined, and I'm just so thrilled to be here with this, especially this topic.
Well, let me just say something, Lisa, that it's an honor to have you because we have seen how much you do in your community, and it's absolutely fantastic. All the work that you're doing and your podcast and your teaching. I know how passionate you are. We were talking offline about our conversations and how, we get so passionate about it. We could talk for hours.
Mhm.
But I know for our tongue tie conference, the topic that you're focusing on is what about mom? Maternal considerations when assessing and treating tongue tie in a breastfeeding dyad. Now, tell me a little bit about this topic. Why the focus on this topic? Why do you think this is important?
Oh, I first of all, my background, I'm a midwife. So
Right.
I am not catching babies anymore, but I'm always a midwife at heart. So,
Sure. Yeah.
I'm always mother first, and I use the term mother for,
Hmm.
not everyone recognizes that term, and may identify differently, but I'm using it in the traditional sense that we're
Hmm.
used to, the person who is caring for birthing and feeding the baby. And I had been to numerous conferences and presentations and hear talk, and everybody's talking very technical about the infant mouth and the
Mm,
infant this and the infant that. And it's like, wait a minute, we this is not just the infant. This is the
right.
dyad, right? First of all, but we need more focus on the maternal aspects and the family
Right.
readiness and
Yeah.
the family's point of view, what they are able to absorb and do, what they want to do, because, empowering is part of
Oh, yeah.
midwifery, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So, yeah, that's why I was like, wait, nobody's talking about this because there's so many topics to talk about, and so many of them are repeat. There's beautiful, beautiful things that are spoken about. And I struggle to, sound a little differently so that I'm
Mm.
not just repeating what I've heard from other professionals. So that's how I came to this topic. And once I started, I was just so excited. I feel very passionate about the presentation. And whenever I have spoken at anywhere about
Hmm.
this, about maternal side of things, everybody
Hmm.
is like, wow, you're right. We don't think
Hmm.
about that, or we're not addressing this. And what about maternal mental health and all the things?
All the
So,
things.
all
Yeah.
the things.
Yeah, I absolutely love this too because I think that in all that we do, we often get called in to fix the problem. The baby's not
Mhm.
latching. We find out, there's a potential problem with the tongue. It's not moving well, and then we're bringing in other practitioners and so forth and so on. That's kind of the standard for at least for a lactation consultant and for many of us who work in the field. We're having to bring in other people, send the families out. You know,
Mhm.
it could become a very big entity all of a sudden in a family's life. I'm often seeing families to post the phrenotomy too, like they're skipping over that. They're just
Mhm.
going straight, maybe to a practitioner who's releasing it. So I'm getting called in afterwards. I'm seeing a lot of grieving, Lisa. I'm seeing a
Yes.
lot of grieving.
Yes.
and a lot of devastation,
Yes,
that
yeah, I actually have somebody coming into my office right after this interview who has really struggled, and she did all the things, the team
right.
approach. She did it as right as she was able to,
Sure.
right?
Yeah.
Because we can't all, the ideal world would be, oh,
Yes.
first we do this and then we do that.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
but that's part of my presentation is we want to be able to meet the family where they are, sort
Mm,
of come up with a plan that maybe it's not my ideal, but it
right.
works for them, right?
Sure.
And
Yeah.
then and she's still struggling. The baby was released a few days ago and he's not really transferring milk. She can tell that. And
Right.
she's sad, very
Yeah.
frustrated. So my meeting today isn't going to be too much technically about the baby. It's going to be helping her come to terms with what her feeding is now, having some
Right.
grace and patience for herself,
Yeah.
and seeing what we can do to improve things. But
Yeah.
the actual what are we going to do, the technical parts of it is the least of what we do as IBCLCs.
Right.
And I think that it's really important for people who aren't IBCLCs
Hmm.
to understand our role, because most people don't.
Right.
And most people have never been exposed to an IBCLC. I know
Yeah.
I wasn't.
Yes. Right.
And, especially physicians may not understand what we do. I was once trying to collaborate with a pediatrician locally who's very, very popular in my area. And I explained to him all the things I do. And he said to me, "Oh, you're welcome to come teach a class in my office."
Right.
And I was like, "No, no, no. I want you to send the people to me when they're pregnant so I can get them
Right.
ready for breastfeeding, I don't
Yeah.
want to teach a class.
Yeah.
I want to help them breastfeed. And this
Yeah.
is what I do." And he still didn't get it. So I moved on
Yeah.
from him. But that's a story for another day.
Yeah,
But
no,
yes.
I think your story is familiar. I mean, it resonates with me, and I'm sure it does with many people out there. It's that recognition of, where our roles and responsibilities are, and people are hungry to know that. They want to know how they can do better by their clients. And is it
Mhm,
is it all about the technical, or is it all about the counseling? Is there a balance in between? And I think
mhm,
you do a great service in just sort of showing and showcasing, what is possible, given an ideal opportunity. But when it's not ideal as well, how do you address that? How do you, mitigate concern or get the client from A to B, knowing
mhm.
that this is what they've requested, but the barriers are up, and it could
Right.
be their barriers or it could just be other barriers.
Yeah, and the
um
the other part of my presentation addresses preparation and how to know the family is ready. And
mm,
and that's
I love
beyond
that.
has the baby had body work. That's way
Right.
beyond that, right?
Yeah.
It's is it a good timing,
Yeah.
um you feel do they have the right energy going into this? Do they know what they're going to do afterwards, and
Yeah.
preparing them for that? And also, do they have the right expectations for
Hmm.
what it's going to be literally that day, what it's going to look
Right.
like?
Yeah.
And having a baby have any kind of procedure is a scary thing. And I know
Yeah.
that firsthand. I had
Yeah.
my third baby was born with a cleft lip,
Right.
and she had to
Okay.
have surgery at 3 months
Yeah.
old.
Yeah.
And even though for the everyone involved it was routine,
Sure.
it was a simple procedure,
Right.
and it was the hospital I was working at the time, so everybody
Mm.
knew me, and I got very, comfortable care, and everybody was letting me, I walked her into the OR, and I whatever, met her. They were all so good to me. But
Right.
handing the baby over and saying, "Do something to my baby," is the
Yeah.
most terrifying thing a mom can go through.
Yeah. I
And I think
100%
I
agree.
take that experience and remember
Mhm.
that,
Mhm.
and try to empathize and educate as much as possible, because the more the family knows exactly what it's going to be like,
Yeah.
the easier it is for them,
Yeah.
you know?
No,
So,
such valuable considerations. It goes way beyond, just even meeting with the client in the office or their home, and, all the things that we talked about today, which really should open up, I think our hearts, our hearts and minds to, what's happening beyond when the client is just with us, all the other thoughts that are going to creep in at 3 in the morning, and they're going to impact how well that family does, how well the mother herself is taking in, everything that's happening. But like you said, it's a whole family that has to be sort of ready and on board and ready to engage. And I think you even mentioned earlier about even learning, because we often teach all the time, but did they hear what we said? Are
Right.
they able to absorb it? So yeah, that's absolutely fantastic. Well, let me tell you, I cannot wait to be at your presentation. So for everyone listening in, let's just do a quick check-in with everyone. A quick reminder, head over to the website right now for our Gold Tongue Tie Conference. That's goldtonguetie.com. And you can register for this event today, which is just so exciting. It has graduated into a conference. I'm so excited, which means we have open access keynote presentations as well that you can join for absolutely free. And I'll look forward to, of course, Lisa, your presentation. You're going to be there live. You'll be able to interact with your audience, which I know you're excited about because you do that all the time. And then you and I, of course, will be able to have a fabulous, Q&A with the audience questions as well, which is going to be great. Lisa, thank you so much for being here today. It's been a pleasure working with you and hosting this session.
Thank you, Fiona. And I can't wait to see everybody that day.
Absolutely. And again, Lisa's presentation, what about mom maternal considerations when assessing and treating tongue tie in the breastfeeding dyad? Thank you again, everyone, for joining us here today. We'll see you all very soon. Bye-bye for now.